Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to be talking about specifically should steps be taken in order to make it more difficult for Netflix to win Oscars. All right, that's the question. And I'm going to give my answer to that question, okay? So my answer to that question is yes. Steps should be taken to make it more difficult for Netflix to win Oscars. Okay. Now, first I'm going to talk about why we're even talking about this. So today, there is a significant number of news stories that are bouncing around the internet. They're talking about Steven Spielberg publicly saying that Roma's winning of 10 Oscars is a problem for theater movies, for the movie industry. Okay. And that the Academy should take steps to make it more difficult for Netflix to win Oscars. And the reason, and overall, I think the reason Steven Spielberg is saying this is he thinks that Netflix is not a genuine competitor, okay, for theater movie, for Oscars, which are awards for theater movies, okay? So let's talk, and all this is being brought up because Roma, a Netflix movie from 2019, won from 2018, won the 2019 Oscars. It won 10 Oscars. It won pretty much everything, all the major awards except Best Picture. Okay. All right. So and it like absolutely swept. Right. And my favorite critic, Grace Randolph, said that this was a huge validation of Netflix as a movie creator. Right now, I agree with her that the Oscars recognizing Roma for 10 Oscars, the Academy recognizing Roma for 10 Oscars, completely, or actually very much takes many steps toward validating Netflix as a theater movie creator. Okay. All right, so let's get into this. So why do I believe absolutely steps should be taken to make it more difficult for Netflix to win Oscars? Here's why. I do not believe that Netflix is a genuine competitor as a theater movie creator. I think they are a disingenuous creator for theater film, okay, which is what Oscars celebrate and give awards for. Now, why do I say that? Well, here's why. Netflix is incredibly incented to see every movie theater in America die. Period. End of sentence. Right? And by the way, everything I'm about to talk about is all American specific. Okay? I'm not speaking to any international concerns. Right? And the reason why is generally the Oscars are for American films, and they have one category that recognizes foreign film. Okay? All right, so this is everything I'm saying is American specific. Okay. All right, let's continue forward. All right, here's why. Netflix is a disingenuous creator when it comes to theater films. And the reason why is they're incredibly incented to see the theater industry, the movie theater industry die, right? And a lot of people are like, hey, this isn't cool what Steven Spielberg is saying. He's encouraging the Academy to single out and exclude Netflix and make it hard for Netflix to win Oscars. That is 100% true, okay? But recognize. Netflix, every day, every week, one of those two is doing a significant amount of things to make it extremely difficult for movie theater owners to make a dollar. Okay, they are timing their releases against certain films so that people will stay home and watch Netflix, right? And they are asking for a massive. This is the number one thing they do on a regular basis, to harm movie theater. And I don't think they're. Well, yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. They are taking this action, which, in my opinion, harms movie theater owners, okay? And that is they ask constantly to shorten the window between when a movie is released in theaters and when it goes on any small screen, right? And the reason why is, in my opinion, Netflix is the king of the small screen, and they know that if the big screen goes away, they will then be the top of the movie industry, because the movie theater industry will essentially be gone, right? So I think that Netflix is a disingenuous competitor, because they're a competitor that is massively incented, right, commercially, to see the death of movie theaters, right? Now, Oscars is an organization that specifically celebrates movie theater movies, right? They require a movie theater release. They're saying your movie has to be in theaters. Now, let's be super clear. Roma did qualifying runs. It did the absolute minimum necessary in order to be qualified for Oscars, right? And Steven Spielberg is coming along, and what he's doing is harsh, and it is exclusionary to Netflix. But do not forget for 1 second, Netflix is not innocent in this. Netflix has been coming daggers out for the movie theater industry for years, right? So I am in the corner of Steven Spielberg. I love movie theater movies, going to the movies to see a movie. And I like buying popcorn, specifically helping that independent or chain movie theater owner, right, to send their kids to college and buy yachts, right? Like, I'm down with that. I am fully on board. I'm a movie theater fan, right? And I do not want to see movie theaters die. And I think that Netflix is clearly incented and attempting to see that the movie theater industry shrinks, and that the request to make the window between movie theater release and when that film is available on the small screen is specifically for their commercial benefit, and that Netflix, unlike any other movie studio, would be quite happy if the movie theater industry died. That's my opinion, okay? All right. And I base that on the fact of, their constant request to reduce the window between movie release and and when the movie is available on the small screen, right? And I think they know that is incredibly damaging to the movie theater industry, and I think they don't care, right? So that's my issue, right? I support what Spielberg is saying, because I think that Netflix are a disingenuous competitor when it comes to movie theater movies. Now, let's talk about, I said steps should be taken, but I did not say the Academy should take steps to reduce, to stop Netflix from winning Oscars. All right, so let's get into it. What steps do I think should be taken, and why do I think the Academy should not take steps to stop Netflix from winning Oscars? All right, so the Oscars, I think, are an incredibly valuable idea and concept, right? I think they are outrageously poorly executed. I think the Oscars have done an incredibly bad job of celebrating movie theater films. I think I would go even further, that the Academy itself has done an absolutely horrendous job of celebrating movie theater movies. Okay, so one, I don't think the Academy can really do anything, or should do anything, to make it more difficult for Netflix to win Oscars. And the reason why is the Oscars are already, the Academy is already doing everything it can in the execution of the awards it's doing to harm movie theater movies, right? Now, why am I saying that? Well, let's get into it, okay? Traditionally, the Oscars have celebrated art house films that are critically acclaimed and commercially abysmal, right? Almost without, and there's a few exceptions, but by and large, Academy favorite films are commercially anemic and critically robust, okay? And it is shameful what the Academy has done to blockbuster films. They have ignored blockbuster films for decades, and they have created an environment where a disingenuous creator, a creator that is commercially incented to see the death of movie theaters, can compete, and it looks completely normal because the Academy has been so terrible about celebrating movies that are commercially successful that would actually help movie theater owners, right? So really, if your movie is commercially successful, it pretty much is massively ignored by the Academy, with extremely few exceptions. So the Academy itself has done such a terrible job at executing their awesome idea. Their idea is, let's celebrate movie theater movies, right? And then what they do is they celebrate movies that do nothing, virtually nothing, for actual movie theater owners. That has been what the Academy has done. They have done that for decades. It is a travesty, right? And I really think, and if you think I'm wrong, look at what they did last year. They announced a popular film category and immediately snatched it back and got rid of it. They understand how, I think that is evidence that the Academy understands how horribly unfair it has been to blockbuster films and commercially success. And when I say blockbuster films, I'm saying commercially successful films, right? And so the Academy can do nothing about this problem because they're part of the problem, right? They themselves have done much to harm movie theater owners when the job they should have been doing is to help movie theater owners, in my opinion, all right? Okay, so what should be done to make it more difficult for Netflix to win Oscars, okay? And why should that be done? Well, the reason it should be done, right, is that Netflix is, in my opinion, a disingenuous theater movie creator. They don't, when they make a movie, right, for theaters, by and large, those movies so far have had qualifying runs, and the reality is they, to be considered for the Oscars, and they're not releasing them at scale in the way that they normally would. And the reality is Netflix, just by the nature of what it is, wants to stream. That is their main focus, right? And streaming goes up when movie theater, and this is my opinion, when movie theater attendance goes down, right? I think those are just logically connected, okay? All right, so with that, what should be done? Well, I think every movie critic in the United States of America should just acknowledge when they go forward, anytime a Netflix film is seen, they should say, okay, here's Netflix, they're trying to win an Oscar. We all need to understand that if this continues to win Oscars and that if Netflix is successful, then our theater movies, our movie theaters in America are going to contract, right? And that we are killing the thing we say we love, right? So critics should openly, in my opinion, denigrate Netflix movies that are released for theaters because Netflix does not genuinely care and is incented to see the death of the movie theater industry, and because, in my opinion, historically they have specifically taken action and made requests for events that would massively contract the movie theater industry. And so I think the best way to handle this is, one, the Academy's hands are tied because they've done such an abysmal job of actually celebrating blockbuster films that I don't even think they're capable of celebrating movies that are commercially successful yet. They may get there 5-10 years from now, right? And I want to see the Oscars survive. I think they're relevant and I think they're meaningful, right? And then, so what they should do is they should say, no, we're not going to, and then critics should say, this is a Netflix film. it should not win an Oscar because the Oscars are about celebrating theater movies. And this creator, Netflix, is incented to see the death of what we are celebrating right here, right? And so critics should point the Oscar judges, so critics who are 100% external to the Academy, should point Academy judges all year long to say, when you see a Netflix-made film, understand that celebrating that film kills movie theaters. That's it. That's the step should be taken. That is my opinion. I would love to hear your opinion on whether steps should be taken to stop Netflix from winning Oscars. I agree with Steven Spielberg on many of his points. I think I have some variations on what I believe on the whole question of whether Netflix should be a legitimate winner for Oscars going forward. By the way, I fully understand, I fully think that Netflix met the rules. They had every right to run Roma in the Academy, and that this is the job of the critics to clarify what nominating Netflix movies for Oscars means, and it really means the faster death of theaters. And I think it's a nuanced understanding, and most people, including Academy judges, absolutely do not understand it, and so it is the critics community mission and duty to explain it to people. That's my take. I'd love to hear your take. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful day.